All right,
Mic
guys.
check. Hey, could you could hear everything good? All right, beautiful.
Beyond the label, right?
I got a loud voice anyway, so we're good.
All right, guys. We are Beyond the Label. John flew me in from the PJ here. We're with Super Whole Line. We ain't selling shit. And we got the legendary Ben Baller in the building. How you doing today?
I'm good. This is my ISO right here, right? Okay. SuperLine wholesale?
super. You know what? You a legend. It's whatever you want it to be.
No. What is it, bro?
It's
He said SuperLine wholesale. I said super wholesale line. What is it?
It's SuperLine wholesale.
Okay. SuperLine wholesale.
SuperLine wholesale. It was essentially my parents' business. I was selling weed. I got in trouble, didn't have nothing to do. I was sick of beating my meat and like being in the warehouse all day. So I was like, you know what? Let me
How
take
old are
some
you?
stuff. 31.
Oh, shit,
31. Do I look like a kid?
You look like yeah, dude.
I look like a baby.
You look like this kid I used to beat up at Hancock Rich. Fucking beat his ass, motherfucking. So you're 31.
31.
And I can't even believe, dude. Hey, seriously, John, I can't believe he's hung on him for that shit. Like really.
Yo, I don't know. Is it bad if I feel disrespected that you don't think I'm Korean?
Why does he not look Korean?
Well, see, the thing is, I think people need to understand, first off and foremost, I don't even look at my timeline anymore. I just go on the explore page with the reels. I just go up, and because he hits the algorithm, I'll see his page. And one time he was talking about a perm, and I gave him a little side because I don't think people really know about the perm shit, how your parents put you through that shit. And remember, I'm old. I'm a Harabaji damn near. I'm no more Samchun anymore, right? I'm old. So when you think about the perm shit, it kind of gave me a hint. But for some reason, I felt like with Chris from
the leverage.
From leverage, forgetting every single brand, all the brands. What's the
Embellish
and
Pastel,
yeah.
The leverage.
So also the kids, House of JR. So I just for some reason thought that you were an OC like Vietnamese dude.
Maybe it's because I'm too dark. I'll be outside in the Atlanta heat running and shit.
I want to see dark, dog. I'm dark, bro. So I just thought that. But are you from Garden Grove? Where are you from, bro?
No, so I'm actually from Atlanta. So like
Atlanta,
home of like Lil Uzi came up there. Icebox, Magic City. I'm an Atlanta guy.
That's cool. I met some Koreans in Atlanta though. I did an appearance out there for what was that crazy sneaker store that has like the crazy wood? Wish. I did a huge appearance at Wish in 2009. And wow, the Koreans showed up.
A lot of Koreans out in Atlanta.
Yeah, I went to an Asian club. I walked out of that. Like, fuck.
What Asian club did you go to in Atlanta?
It was 2009 and it was crazy, bro. I don't know, dog. I couldn't even breathe in that bitch. But my boy at the time, Stevie Williams, had moved there, pro skater. So I love Atlanta. I go out there all the time. You know what I'm saying? But like, yeah, you know, I with the A and everything. Dog, I've known Zahir and all the Icebox guys since like he was 14, 15 years old, since he was a little punk ass kid.
What do you think about the jewelry market in Atlanta? How's that market? We got Icebox, we got Jewelry Unlimited. And then we have like Status Jewels that's like trying to come up.
I don't even know who that is.
Not even on the radar.
I think that I think they want to be trendy, and I don't think they're trying to be iconic. I don't think that they care at all. I think at the end of the day, they just want to make money. I think they want to put out content, and I don't think they have any care in the world about pushing, the needle forward.
So what is it about, your jewelry that was pushing the needle? What was the difference between like your outlook on how you were doing it versus how they're doing it?
Bro, I'm in museums, bro. I have Murakami pieces right now in Paris and London. I have a cause piece that's traveling from Toronto to, to Canada, going to Hong Kong, going to this. And I mean, again, when you're in a museum, like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm talking about you're in Periton, you're in Gagosian, you're in the, the Toronto, Museum of Contemporary Art, you're in the San Francisco Contemporary. It's just a different type of thing and what you're trying to do. And I think that there is hip hop, but then there's a world out of it, and you got to somehow really conquer the world out of it, like even just outside of pop necessarily. And I think also there's people I respect that have been doing that, like Jason of Beverly Hills, Jacob, of course. Icebox has done some things that have, definitely raised my eye. But then I feel like now everyone's just going for a shock factor. So I don't think
TikTok-y, it's Mimi.
I don't know about that. I just don't think that they respect the fact that, like, when you go to Tiffany & Co. lowered the bar by carrying an eye-colored diamond. And that's like the lowest, right? And they'll carry a VS2, and that's where they set the precedent. you're not going to even see 14 karat at Tiffany Co. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like, you know, a lot of these guys have no problem selling 10 karat gold. And probably a big deal is 14. Whereas majority of my jewelry is going to be 18, and we'll do 14 to cater and kind of be like, all right, well, we'll make 14 for the masses, whatever. But when it comes to custom shit, you know, we hallmark our shit. And I don't think people understand. Now, I don't think they even people care anymore. When you see a hallmark, you know, which means on the back of your piece, you see 14 karat, or if you see 585, which means 58.5% gold, you know, a lot of these jewelers out here in New York or small places, they're selling like 13% gold. Remember, this is actual currency. So if you're shorting somebody that 1% or that, you know, that 1 carat in gold, it means something. It's like having a, you know, S580 or S600, and someone's like, nah, I'm getting the S450. I'm gonna slap the S600 badge on there. That's what it is, you know. And there are slight little differences in the interior. There's slight differences in the motor. There might be slight differences in the, you know, let's say there's like a little carbon fiber, a little spoiler, certain things that come on there that's factory. It means something. But this is the only thing in the world currently that is an actual global currency. If you go to Dubai, you go to Alaska, if you go to China, if you go to Korea, if you go to Australia, if you go to Wyoming, gold is gold. There's nothing like it. You go to the euro dollars, you know, it's different anywhere. It fluctuates. This is gold. It's a universal currency. So, you know, people have to respect that to a certain extent. I think people don't.
You were telling me off camera that your earrings are 150,000. I might have disrespected. I said they were 10, 20. What makes those earrings 150?
Well, I mean, bro, they're VVS clarity diamonds, right? G color, and they're 3 carats each.
So what is that? That's like deep in the Africa, like that's like crazy, like 1 in a million, or like for someone that doesn't understand jewelry, what does that mean?
Think about it. So like the standard. So the problem is, everyone has a brand name. Here, I'll compare this very easily. You could be gallery department and sell an $800 t-shirt and sell out. That's fine, right? How sustainable will that be later? I don't know. They've only been around for a few years or however long they've been, right? Now you get someone like, and Balenciaga is still, to me, somewhat new. I'm talking about, like, if you look at Louis Vuitton and you look at a t-shirt, and if it's 800, it's been that. Now, how much does Louis Vuitton cost to make? The only reason why I knew that is because, thank God for Crystal Leverage, people like that, and people that I've worked with going to factories and, you know, in China and seeing what these things actually cost, right? And when I started my mom was in the garment industry for 25 years. My mom sold dresses, you know, so I know. She used to work with big brands that were like, not big brands, but big brands that you would see like in department stores, like Cherokee. You know, she even worked with George Marciano with Guess and shit like that. And, you know, you find out how much a dress cost and then what they're selling it for and, you know, down the line, right? So if you think about that Louis Vuitton shirt and you're like, all right, by the time this is box zippered and everything, blah, blah, whatever, what does this come without shipping and anything else? And let's just say on a high-end level, it's $38.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely ridiculous. But we're talking about, you know, I don't know. Let's just make up some shit. 1,200 thread Egyptian cotton, you know, the best silk, something, right? Is it warranted for $800? No, but that's what it is. Okay. Now, the people who say they have a clothing brand, but really you have a t-shirt company, it's like, all right, dude. So let's say you get a Shaka wear tee, right? Shaka has like 15 blanks. It wasn't until I found their garment dye designer series one, I was like, wow, this is my favorite t-shirt. This destroys the fucking Los Angeles Mart t-shirt. This is really the heavyweight dope ass shirt. They can sell it for whatever, I don't know, 11, 12 bucks, right? And then now someone prints on it, right? And now they sell it for 150. They make their profit. Cool. That's great. When you have a diamond, we don't really fuck with SI stones, right?
SI being like the artificial.
Okay, so here it goes. Okay, so it goes, there's the level. It goes flawless, internally flawless, VVS1, VVS2, VS1, VS2, SI1, SI2. On certain grading gem laboratories, there is a SI3, but not really. Then it goes I1, I2, I3. When you get into the SI2 area, you're in sus area. Now, for the real shit, a lot of the jewelry stores I've seen in the South, SI1 is rare.
What do we sell in the South? We sell in the re-rock, the bullshit?
No, I'm just saying like SI1 is rare. And what I'm trying to say is, I don't even know if I want to sell SI1. Do you know what I'm trying to say to you?
Yeah.
Someone like in the South, and they sit there like a big jeweler, if they advertise VS, I would probably think it was probably SI2 or SI1. I've rarely ever seen a VVS diamond or VS2, VS2 diamond come out of, even on small pieces, like, even like on a fucking, on a small Cuban or a bust down or whatever. And again, their profit margin's better, right? So you go by carats and whatever. Let's say, for instance, you have for standard, let's say you have a VS1 or a VS2 G-colored 1 carat diamond. That's for like an engagement ring. You're going to get your girl a ring, right? Now, that price can fluctuate anywhere between, without the ring, the actual shank, let's just have a plain Tiffany band, like a knife band, simple band. That could be anywhere between 5 and 8K, right? Just give or take. Now, when you go to a 2 carat, it doesn't go to 16K, especially on a round brilliant. You're going to get the best value on a round brilliant because if you ever had to get rid of it, that's the most common, it's the easiest to resell and whatever. So if you have a 2 carat, you're probably looking at a VS1, VS2 G color. You're probably looking at around 20 to 25, okay? If you get a price anything less than that, there's going to be so many other factors because when you look at a diamond, there's so many things. When you look at a t-shirt, you're not going to look at a t-shirt the same as any person on the street's going to look at a t-shirt, right? You're going to look at the weight, you're going to look at the cut, you're going to look at the thread, you're going to look at the neck, you're going to look at so many different factors. With the diamond, you have the polish, the symmetry, the cut, so many different things, right? The table. And a lot of times people look at the price like, oh no, you know what? I found a 2 carat for 17,000, 16,000, bro. What the fuck are you talking about? Well, take the 10 cheapest diamonds you're seeing on a wholesale page and throw those out the window because there's going to have brown, there's going to be bad tint, there's going to be fluorescence, there's going to be other shit. So that's just what it is. So what I'm getting at is when I can go into any store, like when I'm sitting courtside at a Laker game and I'm not sitting next to no pop cats, I'm sitting next to some Beverly Hills housewife, that's when I break out. And, I break out the $800,000 paddock, you know what I'm saying? And I break out some shit. Nothing crazy.
Yeah.
I'm coming, white tee, whatever. But she sees my fingers, fingernails and manicured. She looks at my earrings and she's like, okay.
This guy's had. It's essentially like the best way I could say it is like the jewelers in the South are selling work, right? Like if you sell weed, it's the greenhouse shit. It's the shit that you.
They're not selling the gas.
They're not selling the gas, and what you're doing is you're selling the gas, and it's like the price difference is there, but it's.
But beyond that, I'm selling a name brand because my logo has made it. I don't care about how many famous jewelers. I don't care if people have more followers than me now, right? Because I never chased or farmed engagement. So that doesn't matter. You got people who have 3 million followers and can't sell 200 t-shirts.
Let's say this. So like for me, I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum, right? Like I'm over here selling the shit ton of work, selling all the mids, $5 joints, $10, whatever, right?
That's what the market is.
I have a lot of followers that are interested in becoming the next Rude or becoming the next brand name thing, right? What advice do you have for them? Because you were able to take something that your uncle was doing at the swap meet to like becoming a brand name. What are some things that you can pass on to the next generation on? If you want to start a brand, here's how you go from like doing it in your garage to like being next to Tiffany & Co.
Look, man, if you want to be a jeweler, the saturation level now of jewelers in the world right now. There's millions of jewelers, by the way, right? I think, one, really think about who you want to be in this world. I came in the game with absolutely no intention, no expectations, nothing. I didn't think anything of it. It wasn't until I was like, hey, man, you know what? I'm already starting in a shitty area. I'm in the Slauson. Yeah, it's legendary hood, but how do I get the fuck out of this and turn this into something different? I have to legitimately now turn my brand into something more elegant. Do you know? So we had got sued by the slushy brand Icy. You see in every gas station, whatever, Icy. And I was like, that was actually a blessing in disguise because we were called Icy Fresh. And then I was like, damn. All right, now we're gonna call ourselves IF & Co. Internally Flawless and Company. It sound more elegant, sound classy, And so what it was a lot of people don't know about the Slauson. Especially because I had like 4 or 5 different glow ups, right? My like early 2010 to 14, whatever glow up, that was different. Once the fucking Ferguson name Ben Baller Did the Chain came out, that was a whole different glow up, right? Then Frank Ocean's mentioned me in songs and Tyler and all these other people. They weren't even thinking about that type of shit. Or the Bieber, Drake, who knows, right? Now I'm in Beverly Hills. Still have my factory downtown, always have. I thought about where I was attacking. Where's my audience? Who do I want to alienate and who do I want? This ain't for everyone. I'm a luxury brand. I am not for everyone. 90% of the people that ask me, hey, let's get something done, they could be huge, a massive star. I'd be like, oh, okay, cool. And they're like, hey, I'm ready to get a chain. I'm like, all right, on red. Like I'm just not there. I'm in a different place in my life. So if you're starting out, you're saying yes to everyone. You're going to do work, you're going to do bullshit, you're going to do cheap jobs, you're going to do 10 karat gold, you're going to do whatever. You might not even do 18 karat because some people want it. Then you have people who are like, I ain't wearing that shit, bro. You need to give me that 18 karat gold. You need to give me VVS diamonds. You need to give me this. And when people say VVS, they're full of cap. You know what I'm saying? Because check it out. When you see the back of my pieces and it's stamped and it's hallmarked, now I'm legally obligated to that. Do you know what I mean?
Somebody
Sit there
can
and be
sue
like,
you.
yeah, they could
They can
sue
sue
me
you.
and be like, listen, this ain't it.
Mm.
And the game is so right now with lab diamonds and all this other shit that if you have a bust down watch and you go to New York City and try to sell your watch, they aren't even going to buy it because a lot of times you can't even tell. And some people say, oh, well, that's bullshit then, man. That's stupid. Why the fuck waste my money? Why would you spend $20,000 on an iced out Rolex, right? I mean, if you're going to spend $70K or $80K on iced out Rolex, okay, whatever. You're not going to get it back unless you find someone to buy it. But why would you spend $20K on a lab diamond Rolex? You just ruined the watch.
Yeah.
And this happened to Tyga. Tyga spent millions of dollars on jewelry. He got a big ass diamond stud chain, went to Dubai, calls me, FaceTimes me. I'm like, what's up? It's man, dog. And I'm going to say the jeweler's name. He's like, bro, this shit is CE, bro, HPHT. And I was like, oh man. Now, mind you, in Dubai, you are never going to see anywhere in the world no jewelry district like Dubai. And that shit looks like ass. It's called the Gold Souk. Yeah, it's the Gold Souk. It's old Dubai. Remember, there's New Dubai and Old Dubai. You go through Old Dubai, and you're like, this shit looks like a mix of Canal Street, downtown LA in 1980, the farms of India. Like, you're just like, what the fuck? And you walk in there, and they will pull out a $3 million watch that you've never been able to see that belonged to royalty, that belonged to a sheik. Then you're going to see gold that's just out of this earth and just all kinds of shit. And the level of testing. Back in the day, a CVD machine, meaning a regular diamond test you could buy on Amazon for $30 or $50 or $100, you can't buy that for CVDs, right? I think the cheapest one I've seen is somewhere $1,500. I could be wrong. Now, the cheapest CVD tester not that long ago was like $35,000. So you're buying that kind of money to test CVDs. Now, mind you, they look great. This is the downside. A lot of not millennials, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, they're looking at buying lab diamond engagement rings. You can buy 2 karat, 3 karat big rock for a few G's. Okay, cool. You get absolutely nothing back for it. You will get the same price. I don't know what t-shirt you're wearing. You're going to get that much money back for it. Like, you're going to get nothing for it.
What do you know how you said, like, when you first started out, you were saying, yeah, like, you have to say yes to everything and do everything, right?
Yeah.
How did you make that transition from doing that to like, this rapper who's clouded, I'm saying no, like leaving it on red? How did you make that transition? Because I'm in a phase now where I'm essentially saying yes to everything. John called me yesterday. I flew out on a flight 4 a.m. today trying to make it, right? How do you make that transition from, yo, I'm trying to get my name out there to like, yo, now my name is something and I'm trying to build my name?
So at that point, there was a crossroads. I want to separate Ben Baller and IF and Co, even though they're both my brands. But ideally, I would love to find a successor. I would love to find a fucking,
Another character,
a protege that could really rep the brand, right? Everyone talks about Instagram like, yo, look at these faceless pages. They're killing it. Faceless pages, they don't follow anybody, blah, blah. Like, a plastic plant, or like even what Lil Jupiter was doing back when he was killing it and stuff. And I don't even know. I don't really follow that shit like that. But I had to differentiate. If you had a BB logo on the back of your chain, there is a difference. Whether they're made in the same factory, I made it, someone else, you know what I'm saying, whatever. And people are like, okay, well, it looks like the same. Could be. Don't got the BB on it. Now, some people may say like, oh man, bro, that ain't shit. It's got Reebok zippers and pants, and that ain't no whatever. Boom, that they get salvaged for this and whatever. Like, okay, does it have a Saint Laurent tag on it? Some people don't think that's a big deal. The ones that matter do. Mind you, again, let me reiterate. I'm in a luxury business. Nothing I do is an essential. It's not necessity. I'm not aiming for, the people that are whatever. If you're trying to look rich, cool, great. It's not up to me.
You're trying to go for the people that are rich.
Yeah.
Actually are rich.
And, in 2017, I was like, look, I'm going to separate Ben Baller and IF and Co. So I'm going to say no now. I'm going to say no to my friends. I'm going to say no to everybody. And what it did was, I was seeing Rolex do it at that time. No one caught on until 2020. Rolex started emptying all their shelves, saying we have no inventory, we have no inventory. And I was like, dog, you talking to me, bro? I know there's everything in the bag.
Yeah.
Here, I can still get a Rolex during the hardest time to get Rolex. I can still get a Rolex retail. In fact, sorry, I was mad that I had to pay retail. Do you know what I mean? Because I was getting like 30 off,
So
35
what, before the pandemic, before all this shit, the Rolexes, you were going into Mayors or AD and getting it for 30% less,
Yeah.
20% less.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I could still get, probably still get like maybe 5-10 bags still.
What do you think about 47th Street in New York and the whole like TikTok watch negotiation sort of like movement that's going on out there?
I don't really watch it now, but you know, back then, I mean, dude, 47th is hell.
Why do you say
it's
hell?
a death show? Like, you know, shout out to my boy Greg Una. He just opened up his new boutique in Soho, and I'm glad he moved out of there.
He's not even on 47. He's
in Soho.
Yeah, he's out.
So I told him that a long time ago, and I just said it's a nightmare being down there. You know what I mean? It's literally hell.
It's like a pawn shop kind of. A lot of people.
I mean, it's just like, again, let's say you have a client walking to. By the way, let's say you're in the middle or even the front or the back of 47th. You know, it doesn't matter. You have a client, they have to pull up. Some of them might walk. Who knows? They have to get bothered and heckled and hassled by every single person before that. They got to hit Avions. They got to hit Pristine. They got to hit Tracks. They got to hit all these. Hey, man, come in here, here, and here. I'm not doing that. I'm going to sit there and be like, hey, man, come to my shop. No, don't come to my shop. Please don't come.
It's so crazy because it's the exact opposite of what you do is the exact opposite of what I do, because I'd be outside. Come to my shop. Come to my shop. Go down Beef Highway.
But again, too, though, if you've acquired a certain level and, you know, you get to a certain place,
yeah,
you can kind of command those, you know, demand that, right?
Mm-hmm. So
in 2017, I started doing a waiting list. And I said, hey, man, $100,000 minimum, right? You must pay a full deposit. This ain't a down payment. This is, you know, you're putting on the money and we're going to get a chain. Dude, within like 4 days, I had 19 customers. And I was like, I got depressed. I was like, damn, this sucks. So what I did was I refunded 11 out of the 19 people, refunded their money. And I was like, damn, I didn't want to make these other chains. And I was like, bullshit. Now, mind you, someone might get a $77,000 piece, but they had to pay 100 because that was the minimum. Then someone's going to go do 120, 150, 160, right? So as soon as I finished those 11, well, I finished 7 of them. Once I finished the 7 pieces, I raised it up to 250,000 minimum, and I haven't stopped since. And my wait list opens up in 2027.
John, get on the wait list, bro. You got the money now. You can afford a shop.
Why when we asked for the Shaka bust down, you didn't give me an answer?
I don't even make. I make 4 or 5 pieces a year. You know, and last year I made 2. So it's like I just don't really.
What's the craziest piece you made, and who was it for, and how much did they pay?
I know what it is. I'm just trying to think of how I'm going to say this so I don't get in trouble. I'm thinking of how I can say this and not really. I made a ring for a Saudi.
For the Illuminati.
No, for a Saudi guy. I don't want to say Prince King. I don't want to say. I made a ring. I made a $10 million ring for a Saudi guy and found out it was for his side chick.
A $10 million ring for a side. Yeah. What's your profit margins on that?
I think I saw like 2.5.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And there's a guy on Instagram, if you've seen, there's been this viral videos. Guys, like, I forgot who his name is. I know he knows me. I think I met him before. I think he's from Atlanta. It might be AP the Jewel. I'm not sure if that's him, but he was like, man, profit margins are 300,000, 3,000%, 300%, blah, blah, whatever. Not on everything.
So a $10 million ring, break down the cost. What are the costs that go into it? How much was the diamond? How much was the labor? How much was, I'm sure you had to hand deliver it to a side chick, no?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got flight over there.
Yeah.
All that.
Well, the round trip ticket, I mean, not round trip ticket, but the round trip was probably 700 bands, just the air flight.
That's crazy.
Think about how much jet fuel costs to remember, that's 16 hours.
Yeah.
And we had to refuel. So, like, think about that right there.
We're talking PJs, not commercial.
Yeah. I mean, bro, I think people forget that a one-way ticket on even a global, let's say, you know, a G4, a one-way ticket from LA to Miami is still going to cost you like 60, 75 bands. I think people don't understand how expensive it is.
Yeah.
That's why I don't have a jet anymore, you know. But anyways, that was out of his shit. That had nothing to do with anything. But I found the stone for like 7.2, right? at that point, it's really just kind of like, let's say, for instance, okay, let's say you had 5 Louis Vuitton Virgil shoes that never came out. How do you put a price on it? You don't, right? So someone buys one. Let's say someone buys one for 400 grand, a sneaker. Now, the other 4 people are like, all right, cool. They can say it is the same shoe. They could say, oh, well, you know what, dog? I'm Ben Baller. Why you want Eric from SuperLine Wholesale? You know what I'm saying? Like, you want Ben Baller's pair that he has, right? You want his size 11. So let's get Ben Baller's pair. All right, dog. Well, I want 800,000. At that point, there's not that many you know what I'm saying? There are not many stones that are going to be in that price range.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like at that point, you're not going to be able to gauge or get a quote on it. So at that point, I was like, all right, look, this is good enough for me. I've done jobs for Saudis where I was like, all right, you know what? I'll do this. We'll do 4 of them. Let's just do 50,000 each. It's fine.
How many of them are for side chicks and how many of them are for their
I have no idea. I just found out. I found out by accident that I was for a side chick. I was like, wow. But you know, I've done jobs where, like I said, for, I'll say like, damn, 50K, something that cost me 14. So that right there is over 3 times, right?
Yeah.
And then they're like, all right, when, like immediately, all right, we'll send the wire right now. Like, fuck. I want them to say like, no. So I could have said 70.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I could have said 80. And now, mind you, if I said 80, right, that's an extra 120 grand that I could have just set off just so I always rather say hi. But I don't like people who haggle anyway. So that's.
You're not a 47th Street type of dude.
No, I would never be out there.
You seen Little Yachty's getting some slack saying that New York people can't dress and Atlanta starts the culture. How do you feel about that? What city dresses the best in terms of jewelry, fashion, and just putting that shit on and influencing?
I don't know, man. You know, Yachty went on live to address it, and I trolled him on there, and I hate that like he went off on me, right? And it's on there. If you look at the video, he addressed it. Whatever. Yachty's that's my dog. It's funny because I was gonna bring Yachty up when you said Atlanta. He has asked me for a chain for 8 years now. And he's like, dog, what's up, bro? I'm just trying to get this work. And I just could never, like, I don't know. I love Yachty. We're friends. I just couldn't get it going. As far as style, let's go with the worst style first. Well, let's say metropolitan cities.
Yeah, like major cities. LA, New York, Miami.
All right, Miami has definitely the worst style.
Atlanta's sneaking in there a little bit.
Miami definitely has the worst style out of all the major cities. I think it's fair to say New York got the flyest fashion.
You think New York has flyer fashion than Atlanta right now?
Atlanta's like a little too, like, dog, I'm not into crop tops.
A little too gay?
I don't know if it's really androgynous. I just think it's like
a little sus. You wouldn't wear crop tops and a XL pants.
I mean, bro, last time I was in Lenox Mall, bro, it wasn't that long ago.
It was too much.
I mean, bro, I seen a dude with the baddest lineup on his beard. Like, this beard was like, I thought he painted it. It wasn't, but it was like just super sharp lineup, the whole 9, right? With double D tits, the skinniest jeans, and 8-inch heels. And I was just like, bro, like, what the is going on here, dog? Like, this is crazy as a, right? And I'm staying right across the street at the Ritz, and I was just like, Jesus Christ, this is, bro, what's happened? I mean, Lenox Mall has always been crazy.
It's always been crazy. Atlanta is crazy. What about LA? Where does LA rank in how they dress? Because I feel like all y'all be wearing is Dickies and Shaka wear shirts. And an LA fitted. That's like the.
I mean, you know, I'm usually only in golf clothes, right? But I love wearing the Shaka clothes. You know, but these are 1998 Marc Jacobs, like pleated pants. These are vintage. I think I wear a lot of vintage stuff. I wear mostly golf clothes. But I think California, you have to understand, you can't put it in one thing. I think California is 2 states. It's Northern Cal and Southern Cal. And if you really think about it, OC and San Diego are 2 different parts from LA, you know? So if you think of LA, I think parts of LA has pretty good style, okay, right? San Diego and OC, it's totally different. You know, it's like more of a surfer beach vibe here and there. Northern California, I think they're pretty clean. I wouldn't put LA in. Damn, I don't know, man. Do they make top 3 even? And there's only like, what, 6, 7 major cities? I think Chicago got fly style.
You think Chicago fly? When I go to Chicago, all I see is coats and goddamn.
Nah, man, you got to go to
maybe on the wrong
see some people out there. You think about the people that came from Chicago, bro. Like, I've known Jerry for 25 years. No, I've known Jerry for like 24 years, right? I've known Don C for 22, 23 years. Think of Virgil. I've known Iben. I've known Ye since he didn't have his deal. Like, there's some fly motherfuckers out there.
What's up with the Nego shit? You went viral on Instagram saying that Nigo was bootlegging his own, bootlegging Babe.
It was just that like look, dude, I went to a place. This is during the Jonas days when Jonas was alive. Rest in peace, Jonas. And we went somewhere, and I got a cease and desist recently about it, so I have to be like slippery when I say this, but like, I'm not saying anything negative. I'm just saying something genius. I just think it was genius. How old were you in 2006?
2006. Like in high school, I graduated 2010. So I was like
so
a freshman.
2006. Did you ever come across a fake Babe hoodie?
Dude, I grew up in Johns Creek with a bunch of Jewish people and Indian people. Like we didn't even know what Babe was.
I wish you could see what a. Okay, I'll give you a good example. Have you seen this is just their garment dye Shaka tee, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, have you seen the garment dye designer?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm a jeweler, so I'm going to be very detailed, right? Unless you put it side by side and on top of each other, you'll see the sleeves are a little longer on a designer tee, a little heavier here and there. It has a little bit more of a sheen to it, right? But if you look at it, it's pretty close, right? If you look at a AAA tee and you look at a Gildan, it's, you have to be to really see, like, bro, we couldn't. You
couldn't tell.
We couldn't tell, dude.
You couldn't tell.
We couldn't tell.
It's all about branding.
Yeah.
It's all about branding. That's
and who's making them, right?
Yeah.
And then, when I went to China and I started going there and I was like looking at this place, and I'm like, God damn, it looked like a weed factory in downtown LA. And there's a bunch of grow operations in downtown LA. And you're like, wait, what's going on here? Well, it's an all white building, all black building. It's gated all the way around. There's no symbols anywhere. There's 15,000 security cameras outside. I wonder what they're doing in there, right? And you go to China and you're like going to the factory, right? Where Leverage had his factory. I don't know if he does it now, but like, and the person's like, oh, St. Laurent's over here, LV's over here. You're like, how is that possible?
Yeah.
And then I found out how it's possible. All they have to do is stitch on the leather tag on the jacket, whatever, boom. Now it's assembled in Paris or assembled in Italy.
Yeah. So they're essentially making all the garments in China or wherever they're making, where it's cheaper. And then they're taking it over to Paris or Italy and then putting the finished in or made in. And then that's how they're getting $30 jean and selling it for.
So Jonas was like, hey, listen, man, how the are all these Goyard bags? Like, dude, my ex-wife, she must have had every color Goyard tote before it was like an it bag. We're talking like, 14 years ago, 15 years ago, 10 years ago. And like, we came across some really good fakes in the Philippines. Shout out to Green Hills, man. It's amazing. We're at the probably the best. But there's so many good places now, right, in China and stuff. I remember going out there for Intersect with Edison and James Bond and Jerry and every single big person in streetwear from Virgil all the way down. We all went out. We're like, yo. So we saw the terrible fakes and then we saw the good fakes. Jerry just released a line. Bro, no one's seen it. Nobody knew about it. Nothing. He released a special only for Intersect, for Shanghai, China, all this entire red collection of For Fear of God.
It's already bootlegged out there.
2 days later, that fucking line was there.
That's crazy.
There was fucking Vetments there. There was shit that I couldn't even believe, right? Like, I saw a video the other day. They had Hellstar. By the way, I didn't even know what Hellstar was. I had to watch your channel and see it. It was on Hellstar. So, going on, we saw a place, and the best way to describe it is that factory is open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., right? That's when the workers. I'm just giving you a rough example. Not quote me on exacts. So from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., the factory workers go there. They make the Louis bags. They make whatever they do, okay, right? So then the shop manager goes there and probably has people work overtime, but then pretty much the boss or the guy who runs the factory, he's like, all right, cool, everyone go home, check out, boom, go back to your fucking house. I'll see you at 7 in the morning. But from 8 p.m. to 5 a.m.,
that's when the going on.
That worker's running the shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And maybe some things are missing here or there, but it's like, it's the same shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, I don't wear reps. I never have. Most of my shoes come directly from Nike or whatever. But when you're seeing some of these shoes now, bro, Riff, I respect them more than anything. Shout out to my boy Jeff. They can't even do checks anymore. Look at StockX. StockX can't even. StockX just put a press release out. They can no longer verify or validate shoes anymore.
It's crazy.
So think about it. So it wasn't that I was trying to like make them look bad or whatever, and whatever it was. It's just, okay, dog. If you owned $1 billion brand and you had your shit out there and it was exactly mimicked you don't think you're gonna fucking find out who the was doing it?
Yeah.
I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Okay. So when I was, deep in AUG, and AUG owned, Revenge X Storm with partner with Ian, bro, look what happened to Ian. He lost his company because they decided, we're gonna run these shoes.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't even tell. There was a store on Fairfax and Melrose across the street from my high school, and they were selling boxes and boxes. They got stopped and whatever. There's fake Velo, there's fake everything, and it was just like, dude, you can't stop them. So I know Hellstar, but even my boys were doing it before. They have like a verify type of thing where you could kind of like,
yeah, but even that can be replicated.
So, dude, the world is world's gone mad, bro.
I just recently got married last year, and I have a kid on the way.
Oh man, congrats, dude.
Do you have any advice for me? I feel like I'm starting to get to where I'm making a little bit of money, and shit's getting kind of like, people start coming to me. Can you give me this? Can you do this for me? And I'm just trying to balance all these relationships with work and personal life.
So this is my advice. Never in a million years did I think I'd get a divorce.
Mm-hmm.
I was with her for 14 years, 3 kids. There's no regrets at all whatsoever. I think, I'm a father before anything else in the world. Before I'm a jeweler, before anything else, I'm a father, right? I love that more than anything. That's probably taking me to another level. I was ready to get kids and start a family probably around 35. Was I ready at 35 when I look back at it? Maybe not. 37 might have been a good number, right? 39 is when I had my first kid. And the reason why I say that is because I needed to get a lot of fuck shit out of my thing. I don't know your past. You seem like a decent dude. You look like you have a little bit of scumbag in you, but you look okay. But 31, it's pretty young. Now, mind you, I wish I could have had a kid at 31 because, right now my son be 20, and that'd have been cool. Like I get to see him, I don't know how much, I did a lot of drugs in my life. I don't know how much longer, I hope I get 20 more years out of this. I want to see my kids grow up. But I will say the first thing more than anything, did you go to college?
No, I dropped out.
You dropped out?
Yeah.
Do you remember what it was cramming for a test, like literally staying up all night and everything? Yeah. Okay, that's child's play. That's nothing. That's a joke. When that baby comes, you're not going to get any fucking sleep. So if you have the money to afford a nanny, not only is it for you and your peace of mind, but it's also for your wife's and that help. But is your wife Korean?
Yeah.
Okay. Her mom is going to be around way more than your mom is. That's just part of how it is, So there's going to be help there, hopefully. And that is going to, help your guys' marriage and everything out, right? And just being involved. But I will say this, and this might be a hot take or nothing, my wife and her family's like, you should spend more time in certain things. And, there's formidable years that are essential years. The first, maybe year, yes. But like, they're not going to remember what happens at 2 to 4. There's pictures, make sure you're there for those and certain things. But if you got to hustle and you're the breadwinner, you got to hustle. And you got to know what position you play in the house and what position she plays in the house. And that's important. It's not being an alpha male. It's just you being a provider and being what you got to do. And if she has a problem with that, then you have to have a serious discussion about this because it's beyond love. It's really about what you guys want to do later in life, right? So once you do that, you'll be good. But when they start talking and like they're talking faster, they're on iPads faster, they're on technology faster, you really got to be around more because they start remembering that shit. They remember, oh man, you didn't go to Disney with me, mom took me with grandma, you know what I'm saying, whatever. And how many gave me this, and you didn't give me shit, you know what I'm saying? Another thing too is, are you planning on having a second one? If you are, I suggest that you don't have more than a 2-year gap. Now, again, it's really tough on the women too. Do you know what I mean? Because women have to bounce back. They have other stuff. They have postpartum. There's things like that. But the reason why, the biggest reason why I didn't have a kid until later in life, because I wanted to have bread. I wanted to be sitting on at least like 10M, before I had a kid. That was just me personally, because I knew it was gonna be later. I don't want to fucking have to worry about shit. I wanted to have a cushion. I've always left a cushion for myself. But you seem like you're doing well. And I think one good thing out of this is understand that your kid that's about to enter the world, is it a boy or girl?
Boy.
Okay. This kid, a boy. He didn't ask to be here. So You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you don't get any points for taking care of your kid.
Yeah.
You're supposed to take care of
That's
your
like the
kid.
standard. That's ground zero.
Do you know what I mean? It's not a dog.
Yeah.
People be like, oh, I'm a dog mom. I'm a cat mom. Like, you don't have to worry about what your dog is going to be in society and
Yeah.
carry on your name and your legacy and your last name and whatever it is. This is a child that you have to mold, you know what I mean? And really like guide through life, not just to 18, but even more. You have to be there. So like that part mentally will, and even if you have 5, 10, 3M, 2M, whatever, it's not going to be enough for someone like you who has a hustle mentality. You're going to want to stack, stack, and stack. And some people say, you know, and I've seen people Shaq say, you know, my kids aren't getting shit and whatever. And it's like, whatever, man. You know, I didn't come from shit. My parents didn't leave me anything. I didn't have anything. They don't have anything to leave. My dad passed, and I don't think there was anything really there, and I don't even care. But I do think that because my mom was a hustler, and I knew that I had to get it if I wanted something, that did help me get where I'm at today. But I'm also I'm happy now, and I'm more balanced. And I think once my daughter was born, I became softer. But I noticed with some of my friends who inherited their parents' business, or they grew up pretty wealthy. And I don't ever look at kid, oh, you're a rich kid, whatever. I wish I was,
Yeah.
because I'd have an easier life. I wouldn't be such a dick. You know, I'd probably be nicer. So I think if, you know, you just love your kid, you do what you have to do and provide, I think that that's going to make you strive for more. And it's exciting, dude. Now I don't miss those little days, you know what I'm saying? But then wait till you get to where my kids are right now, calling me boomer and being like, yeah, whatever, dad's sus. Like, you know.
Do you have any advice for me on like marriage? What about that other element of it? I feel like that is a whole nother part where it's like another dynamic, another person. Is there anything that if you could go back you would do differently? Is there anything that you could kind of, hey, watch out for this, make sure you're aware of this? Is there anything that maybe I'm not seeing that you've experienced?
Bro, I haven't even talked about this on my own show. I'm about to give you fucking
The real game.
$1 billion a game right now.
This is literally $1 billion worth of game. It's flawless advice.
So I'll tell you this. I've been a jeweler for almost 20 years. I think it took me 16 years of being a jeweler and even being the biggest jeweler in the world for me to accept that I was a jeweler, because I was such a big DJ that I always felt like I was a DJ, a music person. I'd be going to work for a decade straight. Like, oh, yeah, I'm a jeweler, whatever, boom. In the back of my mind, no, I'm a DJ, right? I've never considered myself famous. I've never considered myself a traditional celebrity until probably at least maybe the 100th meetup, where there's 300 to 400 to 500 people outside, and then me going to places like Hawaii, Tokyo, London, wherever, and there's lines of people waiting for events that I'm not even supposed to be there at. They're outside a restaurant. I'm thinking they're waiting to get into the restaurant. Then I see the restaurant's only at 70% occupancy. And I'm like, bro, I feel awkward now. Meet me, dog. I'm a fucking washed up old man. What see me for? With all those things in mind, and you're starting to get popular, starting to pop, and your face is being shown a lot. People start recognizing you in certain, you know, areas. You'll have a niche crowd and it leak into another crowd. Throughout that time, there's one thing that my wife was and still is. I think she looks better now than she ever did. She looks amazing, right? She's always been a very pretty girl. She was a model. She's hot and whatever. You know, I'm a bald-headed dude. You know, I have charisma. I have game, whatever. I talk my shit. But I also have a lot of females that are always around me. Whether I'm working with them, I did a Shaka shoot, and even the girl that we hired. Do you remember that chick? John, be real. Was she at least an 8? Yeah.
She's pretty.
And again, she reached out to me. And this is a pretty girl. That caused stress on my marriage. You know, and again, I'm like, look, I don't even give a f. And I think people understand, like, I don't think about like the other people do. Every other guy is like, yeah, man, let me get some pussy. And you got a bunch of dudes who never got laid. And the people are just like, man, whatever. And don't have girls or anything. Like me, like, I'm not even thinking about that shit, bro. I don't need no fucking dating app, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'll open a DM. You know, it's like I've been blessed with that. So I think my wife didn't understand that. And you want to know why? Because we didn't communicate enough. And I think I was like, babe, I'm busy. I'm fucking doing something, right? You're like, trying to move some damn blanks. I'm trying to do this, man. Don't stress me out, whatever. If I had taken some time to really push the work aside And if I'm putting 2,000% effort, I think 1,300% effort and giving 700% back to her of the extra work that I was doing would have saved it, right? Me disregarding how she felt, me disregarding certain things, and I think she got lonely at a certain point, you know what I mean? And I was just like, man, date night is really important because when you have the kids, you're not going to have time to do shit. Man, you're going to have baby slobber all over. If she's breastfeeding, there's going to be this. She's not going to feel pretty. She's not going to be certain things. You got to do a lot of shit to make sure that she knows what it is, right? Because if not, you're not going to be able to go out and go get soju and go to bang and be out and do whatever you want to do with your boys. And as you get older, boys' nights won't be the same anymore, too. You know, I don't know what your situation's like, but with me, with golf, now I'm golfing. That's 4 to 6 hours I'm gone from the house. So, you know, really, I took another hobby up. I just wasn't around. So if you make sure that you're around, make sure she's okay. And at the same time, remember, women are just never gonna, it's not gonna be enough, right? Like a woman can be with you in 17,000 hours and be like, yo, I'm not with you enough. I can't even work anymore. Like, you have to just figure out. But what I'm getting at is if you start neglecting, you know, shit, and I was. Like, I think 6 to 8 months went by, I didn't take her on a date. And I was like, what are you talking about? You can Chanel bag, like you chilling, you know, whatever. Sometimes really, that's not enough. You know, you got to take her to that date. You know what I'm saying? You got to take her out to a nice dinner. You have to take her somewhere. They want to be somewhere. It wasn't enough that I'd post her on the page and be her biggest fan of certain things. She needed to be out. And I was like, yo, I started going on trips. I was out all over the place. I was in Tokyo, Paris, Dubai, China, everywhere. Boom. And I was like, damn, all these trips I never took her. I was like, man, you know, so in hindsight, I just think about it. It was neglect. And I just think that, you know, and again, I was a great provider. I was a good father.
You're doing everything else, but just that one box.
But again, I should have done that.
Yeah.
That's on me. You know? So coming up the way we did, right? And I'm not saying there aren't. My mom was the breadwinner in our family, but she didn't let my dad, you know what I'm saying? She wasn't going to embarrass him, right? He would have smacked the shit out of her. You know, we grew up in a different house, right? I don't know if you got your ass whooped when you were a kid.
Of course.
But, you know, that's traditional. You know? I know people say, like, dude, that's fucking crazy. No, I'm talking about full-blown 100% strength, sock to the jaw, trying to kill you. That was normal in our households when we were growing up. It's maybe a little lesser, but I'm talking about 100%. I am trying to end your life, but I love you. This is the craziest shit to imagine. But if you're Korean, anyone watching this is Korean, they know I'm telling the truth.
Yeah.
So in her household, she could break a VCR, an expensive item in the house, and her parents be like, oh, I'm going to kill you. I love you so much. You know, come here and give me a hug. So, you know, there was a big, you know, like, you know, just weird, just the differences in how we were raised. I think if you do that and you are mindful about a date night once a month and certain shit, she can't say anything. And if she does at that point, she's ungrateful.
Chanel bag and date night, and you still get a divorce. It's over with.
No, I mean, sometimes you can't win. Sometimes you can.
What do you think that if you could go back and you were giving her that, let's say you were giving her more of that time, that attention, do you think your career would be where it's at today? Or do you think that's kind of a little bit of the price you had to pay? Or what do you think about that? Do you think you could still be Ben Baller, have a wait list of, you know, 200 people that want to do it, say no to everybody except for the 5, and still have this brand and still have $150,000 earrings and do all this shit? Or do you think
I could have had all that bullshit? Could I have had? Okay, so you remember, I'm a master at reinventing myself. You know, so I started out as a DJ, executive in music, right? Then I was in sneakers. I never in a million years did I think that sneakers make me a millionaire, right? Then from sneakers, I did some other stuff with cars. I always had cars. You know, I don't even give a about cars anymore.
Yeah.
For me to say that is absolutely insane. I was going to car shows in 1981. You know, I was going to street races at Dodger Stadium in the early 80s. Like I was I was car dude forever. I don't think people that don't know me, that don't affiliate me with cars. And I just think that I'm so obsessed with golf now, right? And I think the transition of me finding golf, and thank God I did because it saved me during my divorce. I don't think I could have been Bud Baller, right? And I was already promoting, you know, if you see my profile, the first thing it said, I was like father and husband before anything in life, you know, and my kids came before her. And I think at some points, maybe that might've been wrong, even though I put my kids before everybody, but you know, at the same time, like there's this famous saying, if your wife and your child is in a boat and the boat is sinking, who do you save? So who are you gonna say?
I feel like, sorry, babe, I feel like I say the kid. No.
Okay, and I would say the same thing.
That's,
and you want to know something funny? My ex-wife would say the same thing too.
yeah.
You know what the correct answer they say is?
Is your other significant
You
other?
save your wife. Do you want to know why? Because you can create another kid. I'm not there, dog. I couldn't imagine.
Yeah.
I couldn't
Yeah.
imagine that. So now with that said, you know, you have to put your partner, like, okay, let me explain something real quick. When you guys got married, your mom and your dad, however close you are, and maybe you were a mama's boy, I don't know. My wife was first.
Yeah.
Before them, right? She's got to put you know what I'm saying, before her dad, her mom. And it's hard to do, right? Like, no, she's going to fight for you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, when you have that there, all right, that's a good base. But, you know, going out and doing work and doing everything you have to do, it's hard to balance that shit. And that's where my struggle was. Because I never wanted to seem like I was single or nothing, right? And I think I talk shit online and whatever. I chat with other people here and there. It was never like, hey, send me some nudes. Hey, let me see your booty. Oh, you know, let me see. It was never that. But I did follow a lot of models and certain things, you know what I mean? And
You got $150,000 in your ears. Like,
I mean, whatever.
It's gonna come with it.
But I think you know, not that jewelry got stagnant. I got bored. I think I had conquered everything. I had won Jewel of the Year 2017 and 18, right? There's 1 point something million jewelers, and I don't even know how many people were nominated, right? And to win, it was like boom. Then to win it again, I was like, yo, dude, I think my ego's never been lacking, you know. And then I think when my daughter was born, I was softer with the world. I was a different person. I still talk my shit, but I think at that point, I'm like, okay, how do I reinvent myself? Okay, I'm going to sell Ben Baller gold money counters. I'm going to sell Ben Baller dominoes, mini fridges, you know, collaborate with the NBA, the MLB, the NFL. I'm going to start doing corporate things and shit like that. I want to be able to make shit accessible. All right, a $300 money counter, which was reselling for $1,200 at one point, right? Isn't that easier to get than a $50,000 chain?
Yeah.
Right? So now people have access to a Ben Baller thing that it ties with luxury. So I started doing that. And I just really was like, kind of in a way, like while I was reinventing and focusing on the Ben Baller brand, when COVID hit, we had spent a lot of time together. And I think that she maybe went through some depression and stuff, which I think I did, or a lot of people did. And I think it was a buildup of certain shit. And I think at a certain point, you know, when you're busy, you're trying to figure something out, and it really might not be that important, but it is to you. Like, the TV zipper isn't working on this pair of jeans, and I'm trying to figure this out. Stop, just take care of the baby or some shit, whatever, boom. And that little shit, man, women are so sensitive, you know? Like, if you don't, you know, be a little more mindful about those type of things. Would I have sacrificed that? Absolutely, because I was already sitting on an empire.
Yeah.
So it's funny how the last 18 months I haven't worked. I've done like 2 or 3 things. Pretty much my entire life I've been dedicated to golf. Golf is 40% of my income now. I think that the L's that I've taken in the last 18 months, I've never spoke about. You don't even want to know, bro. You wouldn't even want to fathom. I don't think John's dad would want to fathom that type of, you know, there's people who have, it's just like, it's crazy. And just even, and it shouldn't be about that. But like I said before, love isn't enough in a marriage. There has to be, you have to talk about everything, whether it be religion, politics, you know, whatever, that bullshit. But how about financial? Where are we going? What are we doing? You know, are we setting up a trust for the kids? Shit like that. When I think about, of course, just the financial loan, just that alone makes me like, of course, I could have saved this for that, right? But then just, I think, and this made me seem inferior now, I love being a husband, a father, you know what I mean? A family together, and we were stronger together as a team, but we're not now. So what am I going to do? Like, fall apart and go, you know what I'm saying, and go wither away? Nah, dude, I'm gonna go and what I got to do. I do have more freedom now, but every day some shit happens.
Yeah.
You know, so I took a year and a half off. Once January 2025 happens, I'm trying to kill everyone. Like, you've never seen a revenge tour like this before, bro.
You're coming back.
Oh, on a whole different level.
What are you doing? You doing chains? You doing golf?
No, I'm just
all
doing
of it?
just a whole different level of shit.
Everything.
Like I'm doing things that people. I've been planting the seeds for a while, but I'm talking about I'm already gonna break down some barriers that shouldn't be happening for someone like me.
Yeah. How do you feel like, I feel like being an Asian guy, you know, when I was going to school, I was always made fun of. You got small feet, you small eyes, fucking, you know, and it's like, I go to clubs, like, I don't got 150 in my ear. I don't even have earrings. Like, I get no girls, right? I feel like I still look up to you a lot, and like, you were kind of the spokesperson of like, hey, you can be a Korean guy and you can still be an Asian guy and you can still be wildly successful, A-list celebrity. What is the advice that you have for Asian men right now on how they can, I don't know. I just feel like Asian men were never looked at as like, you know, you're not LeBron James. You're not 6'5" with the horse dunking on everybody. You're
Yeah.
you know, 5'10", you know, and you're
I'm actually 6 feet. I'm wearing flats.
6 feet. 6 feet.
I am 6 feet though, legit. I am. I'm, you know, I
6
mean,
feet. What is your advice to, like, you know, the Asian guys that he might be getting bullied and no pussy? Like,
I mean, dog, I think you just gotta at some point, bro. You know, let's say you get your ass whipped a few times, and I have been, you know, as a kid. I think because I grew up around blacks and Jews, you know what I'm saying? That's all I grew up around when I was a kid. There wasn't really Korean people. There were Korean people in Koreatown, but you got to understand what Koreatown was like in 1981, 82, 83, 84, 85. It was a predominantly Mexican neighborhood with, you know, surrounded by a black community. So, you know, there wasn't really too many Koreans. There's, you know, Halamese, Harabajis, you know, Ajishis, Ajimas. It was like, you know, it was there. There's very few businesses around. But I was in hip hop, so I wasn't hanging around those crowds. So, you know, you take your L's, and I think at a certain point, you know, like, this is a funny thing. On one level, we were looked at as like kind of inferior. We weren't whatever. But then there was KK. I think a lot of you guys are too young. Maybe his dad or some of your youngs would know that's Korean Killers. That was a big Korean gang in the back, and nobody fucked with them. Just like nobody fucked with Wachings, nobody fucked with, you know, the big gangs and Asian boys and whatever. But if you stand up for yourself, get your ass beat, show some, you know, and do what you have to do. Like, my son is a nerd. My oldest son, he's like a soft, good boy. He's a nerd. He's going to be 6'3", 6'2". He's 11 years old. He's 5'5". He's taller than his mom, and he has a size 9 men's shoe. He's fucking 11. I got to do something with this kid.
Yeah.
My other son, he's just like me. He's got so much swag. I'm worried to get a girl pregnant at 14, you know, like, he's crazy. My daughter, sweetheart. So, like, the way I'm going to raise them, and the good thing about it is it started in a house. They grew up with a cool mom, a cool dad. They have no idea what racism is. You know, my daughter's godfather's Lebanese. Okay. My other son's dad, Serbian. Then my firstborn, London, his godfather, Q, rest in peace, the owner, founder, creator of World Star Hip Hop. Black man. So, you know, we don't that shit in the house. Yeah. We all got that going on, right? I don't think my son sees too many Asian people unless we have a family get together. And I just think that the guys out there that are going out there, and this is not to say, like, of course, my business is 98% Korean, you know, well, I mean, as far as the main of it's 100%, but don't hang out with 17 Asian guys, you know what I'm saying, to try to pull up to a fucking, dog, you ain't getting into fucking Poppy or Delilah with like, bro, throw some diversity into your into your circle, dog. Like, you know,
yo, that is dead ass the best advice. Like,
bro, you go to Excess in Vegas and you got 10 Chinese dudes or 10 Vietnamese dudes from Westminster, and like, yo, we got money to buy bottles, and it's like, you got to listen, dude. If you got a table at Excess and you're at the club and you got 10 Asian dudes, you think any white bitches are coming over your table? They're not, dude.
Don't have Johnny Tran, Johnny Wynn, Eric Lee, Eric Kim,
Jimmy
John
Boy.
Kim, Jimmy Wynn. Don't have them at the club. You should be the only one and mix it up. That's so true. When you were in those circles, in those hip hop like circles, were the Asian people saying like, "Oh, this is the black Asian, this is the hood Asian"? Were they saying shit like that, or did you?
Yeah, this is shit like that. But you know what? I was embraced by the black community. Bro, I was in Slauson, dog. I grew up here in SC. You know, like, I was in Koreatown, South Central. I would blend in like a chameleon, bro.
Yeah.
People may hate Drake and say certain shit, but he was liked throughout every community. You know what I mean? So, like, I was loved by Mexicans. I was loved by white people. I was loved by blacks. And some people, they weren't. Some people I rubbed wrong, whatever. But for the most part, I was embraced.
So, some people in the comments be calling me culture vulture, Eric 22, right? As an Asian guy in a black business, how do you think I should navigate
How is it
that?
black business?
I mean, 90% predominantly my customers are black. The content we make is predominantly around the culture, streetwear. I mean, I'm not making memes about like the K-pop stars and shit. You know, I'm making memes about the next rapper, the next clothing brand. It doesn't matter.
I known Adam 22 for a while now.
Adam's my friend, guys. Just putting that out there.
What?
Adam, don't send the goons after me. I'm not
Adam ain't
coming
gonna send no goons.
I'm not coming after you, Adam.
Adam's my neighbor, bro.
I'm not saying you're a culture vulture. I'm just saying I get the comparison a lot, and I'm new to this Hollywood thing, and I just want to know.
Believe it or not, Adam has reached out to me about marital advice. He's reached out to me certain things, whether his wife is doing whatever, and I know Lena. I'm just saying, like, he's reached out to me on some real shit, and I don't know anybody busier than him. Like, I honestly think he's as busy as Elon in some ways, because I can't imagine doing 7-8 podcast interviews a day and having your head on straight and being whatever and doing what it. But that's great for him. Contrary to people's beliefs, I'm not a hater, but I will call out what I see. You know, if you got somebody out there for the wrong reason, just trying to do certain things, you know, then I'll be like, all right, whatever. I think Bobby 100 said something really great in the podcast long ago. He was saying, look, man, people are saying, oh, there's too many t-shirt brands, there's too many of this, you shouldn't start one, whatever. He's like, no, that, start one, you know what I mean? And inspire and try to be different and stand out. I don't know. Going back to the Asians, as far as 100, because, you know, my ex is Spanish, French, and Filipino.
Mm-hmm.
And my oldest son looks like he's half white, but not that it matters. I think of the 800 girls that I dated in my life, 790 something of them were probably non-Asian. You know, so I haven't really been around a lot of Asian girls. And not that I wasn't attracted to them. I just liked what I like. And I know my mom wanted me to marry a Korean girl. I know that was a big thing for her. Didn't happen. And I'm not saying that that's not good for you. I'm proud of you keeping it. You know what I'm saying? You kept it and kept the bloodline, whatever.
Strong, guys.
It is. But I do think that if you're guys out there that are 5'8", 5'7", whatever, who gives a all right, you're 5'7", all right. Your bank account ain't 5'7" though. Your bank account is 7'3". You know, there are ways to, you know what I'm saying? And I think that if people care about, you know, themselves, just taking care of your simple ass hygiene. One of the blessings that we have, I could play basketball, I could play golf 5 hours and really, I could walk, you know, 6 miles in the round. You come over next to me and I guarantee I still smell like flowers. Because we don't have that sweat gland that's different, right? So we have that going for us, right? Look, if you're small, man, be good at eating. You know, shit, man. Figure it out. Go get some toys and get some assistance. I don't know. Go get some. I think they got implants now. But all serious aside, if guys cared about their skin, cared about taking a shower, cared about certain things, you know, sorry, I'm not with painting your nails black, green, pink, and whatever, and that's what you want to do, cool.
Paint them clear.
But if you just, not even clear, why do you need to paint them clear?
Don't even.
You can get them buffed, or if anything, just have clean. Just make sure your cuticles are suitable. You know, making sure that all your shit is pressed and clean. Like I at least do that. Like, bro, you look old and blah blah. Look, if I didn't promote my age so much, nobody in the world thinks I've been 43, and that's dead ass serious. Anytime I meet somebody, I could even get young as 32 or 34, 35. I'm just saying, if you take care of yourself, if you use SPF, and I got that good K-pop skincare shit, you know, shout out to Cardon skincare. I think that just simple stuff that you take care of, I think we're blessed with a lot of shit. And if Asian men just take care of themselves, I don't think you have to fall into these, like, when I see a dude in every era, he's like to the extreme of that fashion thing. Look at Mexicans, bro. Them motherfuckers don't fall for none of that fashion shit. Still socks up high. Shit. Dog, K-Swiss, Dickies, Cortez. Them motherfuckers don't fall for none of that fashion shit. I respect that like a motherfucker, right? I was looking at Bumblebees the other day. I was like, do I need to get me an OG Bumblebee, man? And, you know, but my uniform, I went to one of my boys' houses. He was responsible for selling the first 1 million pair of skinny jeans. Angel Cabada. He owned a company called Supra. One of the hottest sneaker brands that gave a run for every skate brand. They even tapped into streetwear. He also had a brand called Crew. It's KR3W, right? Heavy OC based, heavy skater, heavy rocker brand. They sold millions and millions of skinny jeans. He was only wearing Rick Owens. He did not wear nothing else. And the dude was a fly. Remind me of Jonas Lowe, but just a lot crazier. He was a crazy dude. If you know anything about Angel and Peru and Supra. I went to his house one day, badass house on the Hollywood Hills. And I went to his closet and I couldn't, bro. He had 5 pairs of Rick Owens jeans. He had 5 Rick Owens t-shirts. And he had like 3 jackets. And that was it. He had clean underwear and clean socks, and that was it. And I was like, I guess you ain't gotta do laundry. He was like, I don't wash black, but like he had like a sick little uniform.
Yeah.
And with Shaka sent me like 50 or 60 tees right when I got my divorce, right? I don't think I wore them more than twice. And that was some Dame Dash shit from back in the day. It was just
one and done.
yeah. I mean,
One and
but
done.
I
You
do
don't
wear a
even wash
polo,
it.
you know, when I play golf, and I like to be on my golf swag. And I wear my 90s Ernie Els, you know, baggy pleated pants and shit like that. But if you just keep your shit clean and be cool, you don't have to be so far right deep into the culture where you're wearing the size, you know, the bell bottomish size 48,
Yeah.
you know, pants with the crop top and then the little fucking purse and all the other shit. Dog, you ain't got to be that dude. You know,
Be
you could
yourself.
still be clean. And that's it.
Last question. If you could go back, I mean, I feel like you've done so much in life. I mean, everything. You were a DJ, a sneaker guy, a jeweler, a golf guy, all these assets of life, right? If you could go back to the 18-year-old version of yourself, what's the one thing you'd tell yourself?
Well, let me try to answer that question in a different way. Am I going back to 1990, 1991, or my
18-year-old Ben who's playing basketball and football, right? You teleport back.
Oh, I'm gonna be a billionaire.
And you're gonna tell him one thing. What is the one thing you're gonna tell him? Any advice? Any statements? Any free game? What is the one thing you're gonna be like? This is what you need to know, Ben. This is what you need to know. This is the one advice I want you to know. Take this for the rest of your life. Go and now live your life.
Los Angeles, USA is not the world.
What do you mean?
I think at my point, I felt like LA was the epicenter and the cool of everything. New York, USA, where else, it doesn't matter.
Facts.
Once I started in 2004, when I had broken up with my fiance, I traveled the world for the first time on my own. And I went to Europe. I went to the south of France. I went to Italy. I went to Japan. I went to Thailand. I went to Vietnam. I went to Korea. I didn't go to Korea, sorry. I went all over the place and traveled the world. I went to Brazil and I went to go see places. I said, damn, I didn't see the world. You got 1,000 pair of sneakers, have never been 1,000 miles away from home. They've been in the hood. They don't have no passport. And I saw the world. And I think at that point, I was like, okay, things work in certain regions, but when you become worldly, that's where you become powerful because you really see how people live. I think you also respect the dollar a little more, and you start realizing how people have it, right? People complain about minimum wage here. Minimum wage is too. We can't live here and there, whatever. The economy's as it is. Minimum wage in Japan is $7, dog. It's lower than it is here. But I would tell myself that first off. Second off, follow your passion. My passion was music, and if I missed a mark, I've never really elaborated on it before, but when Dr. Dre told me in 2000, we were sitting in the studio and he looked me dead in the eyes, sitting closer than you are because we're sitting at a board together, and he goes, why are you not making records yet? And my entire spirit and internals of everything just crushed because it was always a dream of mine that I wanted to do. And I should have pursued it because I was there at the inception of when shit was there and boom bap in the golden era. And I think that I could have had, you know, multi-platinum records, or more importantly, I could have made a mark in music, and I just didn't. I was more of a businessman. I wasn't the guy that was doing, but I could have did both. You know, I would have started a clothing brand earlier. I would have done a lot of things earlier that I was passionate about. I think that I was going after things that I thought other people were cool, instead of going to what was after whatever. You know, like there's a lot of people out there that don't look at all these sports that are in the Olympics right now. Now, mind you, I'm sure there's a big market for badminton. You know, we've always been great at archery and Koreans, right? Archery and shooting, we've always been fucking in with that. But it's like there's so many different things that people don't know about that you can go and fucking create and be successful in, right? You could fuck around and make badminton clothes right now and trying to own that market because you're in a bigger pool right now. That's a smaller pool, right? I'm just saying in general.
Yeah.
And I think I didn't follow my passion. My passion, my love. People get love and passion, two different things. Because you could be a fan of something, you might not be good at that, right?
Yeah.
I was as good as I could be in football and basketball, but I was the worst guy on the team once I got to college.
Yeah.
And then it gets better, you know what I'm saying? And my body genetically wasn't ready for all that, right? I could have said all that and started my career sooner and wasted years on shit. And I've had 3 successful careers,
Yeah.
right? Possibly going on my 4th. So I just think if I would have followed my passion, what I really what I knew I could have did, would have been music. Then I don't give a fuck how the music business is now. I would have already made my mark, and I could have had a monopoly. I could have had whatever. I would have done something like Tech Nine. I don't know if you know who Tech Nine is, but
I know what it is,
yeah. But what I'm saying is a lot of people don't. They do and they don't.
Yeah.
And they don't realize that you can be super successful and not have to worry about it. But at the same time, I want the people who are out there that are listening to this that are in their late 30s or early 40s, because I doubt anybody's in their mid late 40s or old as me watching this. Morgan Freeman didn't star in his first movie until he was 53 years old. I had to Google it. And that right there, that up, because Morgan Freeman is worth $300 million right now. And that his start at 53. So that inspired me to turn up.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And get my shit going. But the younger self, I think about this now. This is continuing on to your question. When I was 23, young, dumb, full of cum, thinking I was a bad motherfucker. I had hair then, right? And I was a fly motherfucker. Dog, thinking 23, I was wearing Supreme.
Yeah.
And Supreme barely came out. I was wearing everything. I was always around cool shit, whatever. I'd be like, this dude's corny as fuck. He's 34, 35. That dude's old, whatever. And people think it's funny, right? You think about these young dudes. Even Uzi said this to me before. Tyler said this to me before, right? They're like, oh, he's 28. He's 30. Imagine at 30, you're considered washed up or old, right? At 35, forget about it. 40? Come on, dog.
Yeah.
Every year that's passed since 40, I've become more relevant. You know how hard that is to do at my age, to still remain relevant and then even gain popularity and do it in more of a, in a real way? Just because I only have 2 million followers on my social media don't mean that 35, 40 million people actually know who I am, right? So I think that younger guys have to respect their elders in a certain sense because they've lived more life and they've been through more situations. And so I think just off that alone, older people do have, more experience. But kids now, there's kids who are 23 who lived like 10 lifetimes because they've traveled everywhere. There's, you see these successful stories. You see kids driving Uruses and whatever else. Maybe they're renting them, maybe they're leasing them, but there's no sustainability. And the scariest thing in my life right now is I know 2 friends of mine who've died in the last month. Right? My boy Shifty from the group Crazy Town, who had some hit records, and then Chino XO is a big rapper. And these guys were within like 2-3 years of my age. And it's like, guys, there's no retirement plan for a lot of the shit that you guys do or that you want to do. So think about 10 years from now. Someone's thinking about Saturday night. Now I'm thinking, far ahead. And when you were in the bathroom, I said, hey, bro, I just told Ben, I said, hey, man, this guy has a lot of potential to be somebody great. And when I was coming up and I was in my early 20s, I had met this rich Jewish billionaire guy who was in a Shmana game. He was in the garment business and stuff. And this was one of the biggest streetwear brands in the world at the time called Fresh Jive, my boy Rick Klotz. And I was talking to another guy and he was like, you know what? I make shit for $1 and I sell it for $3 and I do it 1,000 times a day. So when you're talking about you're selling packs, you're selling mids, whatever, ain't nothing wrong with it, bro, at all whatsoever. Where the problem might be is if you try to stop that and then do something else.
And try to be Ben Baller with the one.
Not that at all. You can continue doing what you do and then add another repertoire to you, right? But I wouldn't stop what you're doing unless that machine is well oiled and running on its own. But, I know some of the questions were answered indirectly, but for the most part, the gist of it was, the sentiment was right.
I appreciate it. I feel like I learned a lot.